go in and do it and then go on with our lives, and they remember things that I don't remember doing, and they're just so respectful and gracious, and it's amazing. It's really an amazing feeling.
Well, I'd like to thank you for your participation in the Adventures in Voice Acting project.
Oh yeah, that was great fun. That was really great.
I was wondering, like, how you became involved, what level of involvement you have, and what your take is on that sort of outreach program.
Well, Eric Sherman just called me up and said we're doing a documentary on voice acting, and I said we want to interview you, and I said sure, I'd love to. That would be great. And I'm not very comfortable in front of a camera, so I still haven't actually seen my interview. I try not to because I get a little self-conscious.
You did fine. You did real
Yeah,
fine.
I reviewed it.
Oh, good, thanks. But I was very pleased with the variety of different actors he got. You know, he got Lance Henriksen, which was terrific, and Bob Pappenbrook, who's no longer with us, and people that I work with every day. I mean, I think Eric did a really good thing by documenting it and getting it out there, because I think it's something that not a lot of people know about. So it's good. It's such a small part of the industry. You know, it would be like doing a documentary on jingle singers. You know, there's just a very small group of people that do it well, and that continue to get all of the work, and they do it again in these very dark rooms and these little studios all over the place, and it's not a high profile. You know, when it gets out there, and when you get, you know, to go and see Shrek or Up or whatever, and or Ghost or Metropolis, you get to hear it, but the process itself is sort of something that's not seen.
Yes, no,
It's only heard.
I thought it was a very excellent thing myself. I gave it a good review.
Oh,
But have you been contacted at all about the second volume? They were going to do a volume on video games as opposed to anime.
Since you have one foot in both territories, it makes sense.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. I'd love to do it if he wants me to. I'd love to. You know.
I talked to Tony, who does all the Bang Zoom panels, and you know, he said that basically they just got to get the money up to do it, but
Yeah.
so I
maybe
wasn't
they
sure
haven't started it, I'm
if they had
sure.
started anything yet.
I don't know. I don't know. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. I do have a question in relation to the voice acting process. A lot of people believe, you know, there are, compared to the U.S. and Japan, you know, have, I would say, some hardcore sub fans believe that there's a different process. So I kind of believe that a lot of the backgrounds that you come from, or other voice actors come from, are from theater, while I believe the seiyuu in Japan come from voice acting schools in particular. I mean, do you feel like there's really a big difference in between those, you know?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if they had voice, I mean, they're starting to get more, you know, workshops for the specific for voice acting, but
You know, they're still involved in the U.S. Still, the Japanese companies with the voice actors here. I know some companies do.
oh, you mean to have like classes for the voice actors, or?
No, actually, in terms of casting, I believe I heard at some point that they had stated that Naruto has been, you know, kind of looked over by the Japanese companies in terms of, you know, who they like in terms of the voice actors in the U.S. compared to, which it's kind of different for me. I didn't know that they were someone involved in me. You've never had them work with you directly, or?
I'm not sure I understand.
Yes.
The short version of the question you're asking is, have the Japanese companies ever specifically requested you for a voice on their properties?
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's like Japan does it, they sell it to Viz, and then Viz might request us, but it's usually not through the Japanese companies themselves. It's usually through the American distributors. And they don't have any voice acting classes that we know of. I know I had no idea that there was this, you know, world of voice acting classes in Japan. I think that's fantastic. But what they're doing in Japan is they're doing it like like we do original animation here. They get all the actors in a room, and they basically do a table read with microphones, which is what we do for original animation here. You're basically I direct an original show, and we get all the actors like we're here now, standing in front of microphones, and it's like we're doing a radio play. I mean, that's how all original animation is done, pretty much. The difference is that we're now having to do it to a picture that is already locked, so we can't do it that way. It's virtually impossible to get a group of actors to do ADR all at the same time. I think we did something for the third movie, Naruto movie, that, you know, it's like, yeah, we can do this all with a group of people, and you can't. It's impossible. It was really for show, you know. It's playtime, but otherwise.
Do you have a favorite sort of fan story? Like you mentioned that Con, you like coming back to these coast. Do you have a favorite either insane fan story or you know crazy con adventure? You know, something blows up, you know, gas main explosion, things like that.
I think it was like my rock star moment.
All
I
right.
think I was in Boston for the con in Boston, and I was outside having a cigarette, and these two girls came up, and we just started talking, and I think we talked for about an hour and a half, and they were staying in the same hotel, so we got in the elevator to go up. It was about 12:30 in the morning at that point, and going up, and they pressed their floor. They were staying on a floor lower than mine, and the doors open, and we were still talking, and the door closed, and I said, "Oh, that was your floor," and they said, "Oh, that's okay." So we went up to my floor, and I said, "Well, it was so amazing meeting you guys and talking to you guys, and have a great con, and I hope I see you around." And I walked out of the elevator, the doors shut, and these two girls screamed at the top of their lungs.
You hear it all the way out there.
It was, and I just started laughing. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never been a rock star," and I just had that moment, because you go to Crispin's panels and Steve Bloom's and these girls screaming, but I'd never had that. It was really, really amazing and touched my heart.
Do you have? Oh.
You're doing real good.
I was just going to ask, is there any project you've done, be it acting, directing, writing, anime, video games, film, theater, that is lesser known that you really like and you wish more people knew about?
Wolf's Rain might not be as widely known, as Ghost, Bebop, or anything, but that was the animator's. It was his love story, basically. It was his love project, and I got to meet the character designer, and for me, that was, I just adored that show. It's the first show I ever really did almost all of the writing and directing and most of the casting, and I just, please.
Which role,
please.
though?
No, the whole thing. I wanted to direct.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to
Not
direct
just
it.
actually wanted to have full control.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
as much control as one could possibly have in this
Yeah.
process. I wanted us to do that. I really did. I mean, Wolf's Rain is one I, like Crispin Freeman and I, campaigned for. I mean, literally called Otakon and said, "You got to get this property. You got to get Wolf's Rain. Got to get Wolf's Rain." And we tried to do that with Death Note, but because of contractual things or whatever, and it went to Canada. They did a great job, but Death Note, I would have wanted to do Death Note. Because it was dark, gorgeous.
Something that hasn't been picked up yet, but could conceivably be created that you want to get all over. A dream project of your own that hasn't even been launched, something like that.
I don't know. I think I wish. I mean, Pixar is amazing at being able to make movies for children that still have adult themes in it. I would like to see something. Oh, Up was just stunning, beautiful. So the first 10 minutes of that movie was just weeping. I thought, is the whole movie gonna be like this? I'm not gonna make it.
I think I cried 2 or 3 times in that.
Right. I wish they would do more adult-themed animation in the States, like Japan does.
It's just such a difficult sell.
The
They almost
audience
never
is-
have any place to put it.
Yeah.
They put it on Adult Swim, and it basically just sits there. They try to put it out in the video market, and again, it just sits there. There really isn't any upscale marketing for projects of that nature. The last time I heard of anything that was going to be remotely close to that was when some of the guys at Pixar were talking about setting up a separately branded division to do PG-13 plus type of animated productions. One of the things they were talking about was John Carter of Mars, which had me. It's from the Edgar Rice Burroughs books,
Mhm.
and that the idea that the mere idea alone